Okay, so when you open up our Flashprint software for the very first time, it's going to ask you to select the type of machine. So we have Adventure 3 series and click OK. And then it'll adjust a little area here to match what our printers are capable of. To load in your model, you can either go File, Load File, or this little button here, you can load a file with this little square with the plus next to it, or cube with a plus. And then you can find your STL that you've downloaded. So I have this little ghost guy. There he is. I'm just going to close that window so it's out of the way. So then over here is all of your different tools. So you have move. So if you need to move your thing around the build plate, you can do that. Rotate. So sometimes setting your design up differently, like rotating it, will make it print better. So you can rotate it by 90 degrees or type in a number. So it just rotates it. We have scale. So if you need to change the scale for some reason, you probably want uniform scaling on so that it keeps everything in proportion, but you can slowly increase it or just type in a number and it does them all at the same time if it is on uniform scale. Next is cut. So this is really handy if your file has like multiple parts and you want to be able to move them around or like rotate them separately. You can move this red disc between your two parts if I had two of them here, or you can cut something in half. Or so you can choose with these different cut options, but really you just kind of put it where you want and then you do start cut and it separates the parts for you. So this obviously was one part. I probably wouldn't want to cut this, but if I had like another rod or something and I didn't want it printing laying down, I wanted it standing up, I could cut it and then rotate that piece separately. So now I have two halves of my ghost. You could duplicate, do an auto layout where it kind of places everything for you, and then supports. So unlike with our MakerBots, it does not automatically do supports. You have to tell it if you want supports on. So for this one, since it is kind of hollow on the inside, I probably do want support so that it prints correctly. So the easiest way is just click auto supports. There are different styles of supports. I find that the straight line pillar supports work the best. As you get more advanced with things, you can try and play around with these settings, but generally you can just click auto supports and it's going to generate it for you. There we go. So inside of my little ghost has supports now, and I can just click back. So then the last step to send it to the printer is just to click start slicing and slice. And you can see that it is slicing. Hide this so it's going there. And then you're going to want to do a slice preview. And this shows you some of the info you need for our yellow tickets. So this is going to take 1 hour and 17 minutes. It's 10.6 grams of material. And then you can also like see the different ways that it's printing. So using our same filament, how it kind of changes its settings on its own to do different things. And it has this little color code. So things that are supports and wrap. And you can change the layers and see how it's going to be built. Steps is like individual steps around. So I think if I move this down, so you can see like on that exact layer the path that the printer is going to be traveling. So if it all looks good, you wrote down these numbers on your job ticket. You're going to do local save, save to local. So this is basically telling you want to save it onto your computer. And really, you're going to save it onto a flash drive. So this is where you would plug in your flash drive, making sure you use an adapter. Choose your flash drive. You might be able to find it under this PC. It would show up in here as like a flash drive or USB. Make sure you know what the name is. Maybe give it a better name if it's one of those gibberish names from Tinkercad. And you just click save. Or my desktop for now. And then you're all good to take your flash drive to the lab and print.